In the first 3 months of 2026, one retail broker booked $623 million of transaction revenue. Over the same 3 months, its customers paid zero commission on every stock trade. Both sentences are true at once, so somebody is paying. It is not the broker, and it is definitely not nobody. There is a machine sitting between your tap and the exchange, and it is the reason free is free. Here's the payoff up front, so you are not waiting for it. When you send a market order to a commission-free broker, the broker usually does not take it to an exchange. It sells the right to fill it to a wholesale market maker, and the wholesaler pays for that right. That payment is called payment for order flow. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, that channel plus related transaction revenue came to $623 million at one broker, up 7% from a year earlier. So, the question is not whether your order has value. It obviously does. The question is who captures it, and how much of it comes back to you as a better price. That is measurable, and by law it is published. Start with what actually happens when you tap buy. Your broker is not an exchange. It is a router. It takes your order and decides where to send it. And that decision is worth money because not all orders are equal. A big institution's order is dangerous to fill. It may be informed, it may be the first slice of something enormous, and whoever takes the other side can be run over. A few shares from a retail account is the opposite. It is small, it is uncorrelated with the next order, and it is very unlikely to be the leading edge of a $100 million program. Traders call that uninformed flow, and it is the safest inventory in the market. So wholesalers compete to buy it. They pay the broker a rebate per share or per contract, then fill the order themselves out of their own book, usually at a price slightly better than the best quote showing on the exchanges. Everyone can point at something they gained. You got a fill and no commission. The broker got a rebate. The wholesaler got flow. It can hedge cheaply. The question the rest of this video answers is where that money is actually generated, because the answer is not where most people assume. One more piece of vocabulary, because it explains why this is legal and old. The firms buying the flow are called wholesalers or internalizers, and there are only a handful of large ones. Names like Citadel Securities, Verdue, Jane Street, and Susquehanna appear again and again in the routing tables. Internalizing means the wholesaler does not pass your order to a public exchange at all. It takes the other side itself out of its own inventory and manages the resulting position across thousands of other trades. That is the service being bought, and it is not new. Paying for order flow predates the app era by decades. What changed is that commissions fell to zero, so the rebate stopped being a side income and became the business model. Now the mechanism, and this is the part worth the whole video. Payment for order flow is not paid out of the size of your trade. It is paid out of the spread. Billed at one block at a time. Block 1. Every quoted market has a bid and an ask, and the gap between them is the spread. A market maker's raw business model is to buy at the bid, sell at the ask, and keep some of that gap. Block 2. Whatever the market maker keeps, it can share. Some goes back to you as price improvement, some is kept as profit, and some is paid to the broker that sent the order. 3 claims on one pot. Block 3. And here is the hinge. How big is the pot? For a large liquid stock, the spread is often 1 cent on a share worth tens or hundreds of dollars. 1 cent, split 3 ways, is close to nothing. For an option contract, the spread is routinely several cents on a contract quoted in single-digit dollars, proportionally much wider. Same mechanism, radically different pot. Now look at what that predicts, and then look at the actual filing. In the first quarter of 2026, that broker earned $260 million from options and $82 million from equities. Options were 76% of the equity plus options total. Stocks are the product almost everybody signs up for. Options are the product that pays for the app. And notice what this does to incentives, which is the part the regulator cares about. The broker's revenue rises with the number of option contracts routed, not with how well you do on them. That is not a hidden conspiracy, it is disclosed, and it is exactly why the rule exists that we look at next. So who actually got hit, and who can check the numbers? Start with the disclosure, because this is unusually transparent for a business people call secretive. Under Securities and Exchange Commission Rule 606, every broker must publish a quarterly report showing where it routed non-directed orders and what each venue paid it, broken out by order type. Anyone can download it. In that same first quarter of 2026, the transaction line splits 4 ways. Options $260 million, other transaction revenue $147 million, cryptocurrencies $134 million, and equities $82 million. Equities, the thing the brand is built on, is the smallest of the 4. Now the cost side, which is genuinely contested. Wholesalers argue retail orders get filled better than the public quote, and often they do. Critics argue the comparison is rigged, because the public quote itself is shaped by the fact that the safe orders never reach the exchange. Both sides are pointing at real effects, and academic work by the Commission's own economists has gone back and forth on the size. What is not contested is the direction of the incentive. The revenue is tied to volume, and it is concentrated in the widest spread products. It is worth being concrete about what the report actually contains, because most people have never opened one. For each of the 4 order types: market orders, marketable limit orders, non-marketable limit orders, and other orders, the broker must list its main venues, the percentage of orders sent to each, and the net payment received or paid, expressed both in dollars and per 100 shares. That last unit is the one to look at, because it lets you compare venues on the same scale. There is also an arrangement most users never see. At this broker, the clearing entity passes 80% of the revenue it receives from third-party market centers to the introducing entity under an internal allocation agreement. None of that is hidden. It is simply written in a document nobody reads. Here is the one line to keep. The commission did not disappear. It changed address. It used to be a line on your statement that you could read. Now it lives inside the spread, where you cannot see it directly, but where the regulator makes the broker publish it and aggregate every quarter. That is the trade the market made. A visible small cost swapped for an invisible one, plus a strong business incentive to route more of the widest spread products. Whether that is a good bargain is not a question a chart settles, and it is not what this channel is for. But the forward question is worth sitting with. If the pot being split is the spread, what happens to this whole model in a market where spreads keep getting narrower? If you want more breakdowns of the plumbing under the price, subscribe. Educational content, not financial advice.